Hey, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the PHNX Suns Podcast.
Emma!
Jacob!
Emma has broken the computer.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
And you can
That's
see her
Jacob.
little
This is her
hat
show now.
there in the
That's
back.
Emma.
This is the Emma show, officially.
I love technology.
Same.
I really love
Welcome
technology.
in.
Everybody's
No.
just looking at Emma's face right now, so it's cool.
No, they're,
Yeah,
They were.
they were.
they were.
Until you hit us.
Oh,
Happy Thursday, everybody. This is the PHNX Suns show.
Is
Wow.
it?
It is.
the Suns
this
are
the
building
Emma
a
show?
super team, and we're building whatever the hell
And
this is.
It's like Inception. It's like a box within a box. Anyway, we had a lot of fun stuff happen today.
I like Emma Cam.
She's not on actual camera.
No, I know, but I can see it, and it's entertaining to me.
Gotcha.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
yeah,
so-
We good
we're
now?
still-
Let's
yeah,
just
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
we're
just
still
wanted to give you
going.
guys some space. That's
Yeah.
all. You could make jokes or whatever. So we had a lot to go down. We had a lot go down this morning with the Phoenix Suns. They introduced Bradley Beal to the Valley in an introductory press conference, and we got a lot of information from him, James Jones, and Frank Vogel. So to start things off, we will hear what Bradley had to say about what he's most looking forward to with the new changes to his life and career.
Just the journey in front. I don't have any control over it. You know, it's tough because everybody knows I only know DC. That's all I know. You know, so now I'm jumping into a whole new situation. It's fresh, new people, new faces, new organization, new people to meet. I'm embracing it all. You know, I don't know what it'll bring. I don't know what type of challenges, adversity will come with it, but whatever comes with it, I accept it. I embrace it. Because it builds character. It helps build who you are. You know, so I would say I'm living this next chapter in my life freely, peacefully, and just excited for the journey ahead, man, because we try to control too much of our lives. We try to think we're God. We try to control way too much, man. Just let things happen naturally as they're supposed to and see great things happen.
There's an irony in him saying that, having the no trade clause, and literally controlling his own destiny to come to Phoenix.
True.
Yeah.
To an extent.
I mean, no disrespect, but it's just funny to me that's the way it went down, you know?
No, I get what you're saying, but I think it's bigger picture here, of course,
Yeah,
right?
of
Like
course.
everyone's always asking the questions, especially around this specific situation. But how and who's going to do and what is it going to? And it's just like, listen, you just got to figure it out as you go. Let it play out. Lean into the unknown and know that you guys are all in this together, and you're going to find a way to hopefully reach the goal that you've put in front of you.
Did you just go down the High School Musical path? We're all in this together.
Without
Is that
having
where we're
seen
going?
it, yes. So it was an accident, but I'll give it to you.
Okay. Yeah, and to his credit, you know, he did talk a lot about how it was a difficult decision for him to leave DC, where he had spent his entire career to that point. And you could tell, like, he had roots there. He had laid down roots in Washington, and this is really exciting for him that he gets to play on a team that has legitimate title aspirations for probably the first time in his NBA career. Like, the Wizards have been a playoff team, but he said it best, like, I've never been over the second round hump. So this is going to be really cool to watch, and I think he's excited about the opportunity to play meaningful basketball every night.
It's awesome. Like, for him, I'm very happy for him. You know, one of the things that really stuck out to me is I just feel like Bradley Beal is a very committed guy in every facet of the game and the organization, and he's like a pro. Well, you know, like, he talked about community a lot and charity, which I think is fantastic. And I genuinely feel like when he talks about leaving DC, he's not just talking about leaving the organization. I do think that there's a part of the community that he feels bad, that he's maybe to some degree feels like he's abandoning, you know, but it's in his own best interest as well. And it doesn't mean he can't do good here as well, you know? So I'm really excited for him. I think when you get out of a situation where, I mean, I'm not going to say it was, you know, utter despair or anything like that, but, you know, they weren't on the precipice of winning anything. And now you're all of a sudden thrust into the national spotlight on a team that is that is viral, that a lot of people either love or hate. And, you know, it's going to bring a lot of attention. And I think he's ready for it. And I'm excited for him. And I'm really excited to see what kind of, how his game jumps up another level with the group. And he talked about that later, which we'll get into.
Mhm.
I have some insight from a former teammate of Bradley Beal. I reached out, and he says, very quiet guy, doesn't say much, incredible offensive player, good leader, but not vocal, leads by example. He's very professional in what he does, and he will always reach out to you when needed. He can recognize when someone is on the side, not connected, quote unquote, on an island, and goes and reaches out to him. So this could be a guy, just reading through that might be a little bit of that DA whisperer, guy that goes over and says, hey, come on, man, let's get in this. Unlike Katie and Book, who seem very much, we're locked in on this. We're worried about how we get better on the court. Bradley Beal seems like, based on his former teammate, a guy that gets the non on the court and that side of it.
That's an interesting point. I don't, I think we don't really think about off the court stuff. And Bradley Beal's a family guy. He's got a family. He's got 4 kids. He's married, and he very much loves his family. He posts pictures about them all the time on his social. I do wonder, maybe to some degree, because of DA's upbringing and in his family roots, if Beal would be that type of guy, maybe off the court, to be able to connect with him in a little better way than, let's say, KD and Book, who are, they're single individuals doing their thing, and and so maybe there is some relation there that might be able to pull a little bit more of an aspect out of DA in terms of being able to get across and communicate to him, just because of that environment that he surrounds himself with.
I did love Beal's 2 young sons kept raising their hands like they wanted to ask questions at the press conference.
Why? It's hot as hell out here.
Can we go back to DC already, Dad?
Bless their hearts. I know he did mention the heat already. He was like, when does it stop being 115? And then went on to be like, but I'm a summer baby, so I like it. And I'm like, wow.
You just got here and it just started being 115. Good luck for the next couple months.
It's tough when you open the door and you feel like you literally just got punched in the face because of how hot it is.
When he asked that, I wanted everybody in unison sitting there to just say October.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. Like you guys mentioned, this is, people in the chat were saying Bradley Beal is very loyal, and he wasn't really playing necessarily for a championship with the Wizards just because of the nature of where that organization is right now. But now he is, and he gets to play alongside 2 very, very great players in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And here's how he feels about that opportunity.
I get antsy just thinking about it because I haven't had those opportunities. And it's the same with the other 2 guys and DA. Like, this is crazy. I met with these guys. It's the first thing James said. He's like, okay, when we played you, we pretty much doubled you when you had the ball. He's like, but with us, who are you going to double team? Where are your rotations going to look like? And so, just that 2 seconds, I was like, damn, that makes a lot of sense, So, but I'm excited about it. You have a lot of dynamic scorers who, the biggest box that we check is our unselfishness. All of us just want to compete. We want to play hard. And the biggest thing, we want to win. And I think we all have unbelievable talents that we respect. And we unselfishly push each other to be the best we could possibly be. So I'm looking forward to it. K, Dev, DA, these guys are a great core piece to the franchise. And I'm happy, like you said, that you can go guard Devin and K tonight. I can chill a little bit and not face so many double teams. A little bit more open shots, I can work on my catch and shoot a little bit more. So you're good.
He touched on the one thing that's driven me crazy about people comparing this trio to what the Nets did with James Harden and Kyrie in Brooklyn, is that these are guys that all 3 of them can play on or off the ball. So it's not, I hate when people ask the question, well, there's only one ball, how are they all going to get their touches? It doesn't matter, because one night it's going to be Beal, one night it's going to be KD, one night it's going to be Book. There is no set hierarchy with these 3, because they can all handle the ball. They can all pass. They can all be spot-up shooters. They can all score with the ball in their hands. He said it best, good luck when it comes to trying to stop all 3 of those. And if you surround them with another shooter and a rim-rolling big like DA when he's locked in, that's really, really difficult to stop. So I'm excited to see how it works and how they're able to build that chemistry.
But, Gerald, big 3s don't work. You need guys that have been there 9 years and have lost a bunch to eventually win it all. Look, that's the beauty of this. How are you going to defend this? We said that with Booker and KD. Then you add Bradley Beal. It's like, you're going to have 7 guys on the court to defend this? No, you got 5. How are you going to figure it out? Good luck.
I again, as he was saying that, that's probably the first time since this trade happened. Like, I was excited about the trade. Don't get me wrong, but I like started to envision like, oh shit, like this is going to be stupid because Gerald's right. Harden, ball dominant, has to have the ball in his hands, got to bring it up. He's got to initiate the offense. He's got to do all that. Kyrie, same thing. KD, when KD got traded here, what was the first thing everybody said? He's the most manageable piece, superstar that you could have. You can pretty much plug and play him wherever. And the Suns tried to do that. Now you add in Bradley Beal, who's a little bit more, I wouldn't say dribble heavy, but I think he's a little bit more than the other two. But he can catch and shoot. He can penetrate. He can move off the ball. He loves to move off of screens. Like, that's what you're talking about. And so to Gerald's point, like, I think that's a great point. Like, you gotta understand that these are different pieces. It's not the same 3. Much like Steph, Clay, and KD is what I would probably analyze this to, because those guys also come off screens, can catch and shoot. Like, that's what you have here. So I would say that this big 3 is more like that one than it is the Brooklyn one.
Yeah.
I also love how at the very beginning of this answer, he kind of had to hesitate a little bit to really form his thoughts, because it's the same way that we all are like, I don't even have an answer for you on as far as like how insane this is going to be. It's just going to be fun. And I'm ready to actually see it in action. Like, he feels the same way that we feel about it. And I think that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, he joked about the catch and shoot, but I also think that's a reality. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I haven't done that in a while.
I literally was just watching some Bradley Beal highlights, and there's not a catch and shoot in the whole mix except for one in the corner at the buzzer. That's it. Like, so there's definitely going to be an adjustment for him, but I don't think it's going to be severe. Again, he talked about playing with Westbrook and how that elevated his game.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're just surrounded by 2 just all about ball superstars and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, just guys that love to work, it forces you to raise your game. And I'm excited to see what Bradley Beal is going to do with the Suns.
And he pointed that out specifically. You know what I mean? Working with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker is going to force him to get better. And on the flip side as well, him coming in with that duo will also push them to get better. Like, this is good for all of them all around. And it'll be exciting to see exactly what the 3 of them look like out there on the court. We've got more Bradley Beal stuff coming up here, but real quick, our friends over at BetMGM are doing some really cool stuff, so you should get in on the action. Tomorrow and next Friday, they are giving out bonus bets. All you have to do is log in to the BetMGM Sportsbook. Make sure you claim sooner rather than later, though, on those Fridays, because they do expire, but all you have to do is log in. If you have not signed up for BetMGM yet, make sure you do and use that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, all you have to do is place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use bonus code PHNX. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
And of course, make sure you check out your local Circle K for the best coffee, the best beer, and snack selection, as well as premium gas. We love our friends over at Circle K, and we don't want you to miss out on all the great stuff. So right now, text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Perfect for these 115-degree days here in Phoenix. Head to Circle K. Huh?
We got to tell Bradley.
I know, right? Bradley, we got the answer for you. It's Circle K Polar Pops.
Just go hang out in the beer cooler at Circle K.
I mean,
Bradley.
that too, though, is actually not a terrible idea. Just head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. All right, so we're really excited, obviously, to see how this big 3 kind of comes together. But he was asked specifically about playing with Devin Booker and the dynamic between the two of them. Here's what he said.
I mean, pretty much probably what you said. I mean, obviously we're going to ask this guy what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be playing. But I see it as being free-flowing. Like, I don't think either of us really have a position. Like, he can create, he can, facilitate, he can shoot the ball, he can score the ball. And I could do the same, So it's not going to be a who plays point, who plays shooting guard. I think it's an interchangeable thing, and whoever gets it goes.
People want to play with Devin Booker. I mean, I don't know how many more times we can say it.
Yeah.
Like, people want to come play with Devin Booker because he has evolved his game to more than just a scorer. And I think that's the dynamic about Devin Booker that I think gets overlooked the most, especially in this last year. You see him, just develop his game, being able to facilitate the point book thing before. I mean, let's be honest, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, point book was like, okay, maybe in spurts. Now, at least from my perspective, I'm comfortable with it. Like, go ahead, do what you got to do. If Bradley Beal and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are going to kind of man this point guard position as a trio, I'm here for it. And I think in today's day and age, when we're talking about positionless basketball, like, this is going to prove that can work, because Devin Booker is not, quote unquote, a point guard. Neither is Bradley Beal. Neither is Kevin Durant. But I bet you it's going to work, because those three guys just have such a high IQ for the game that they're going to be able to facilitate to whoever needs the ball the most and make the right decisions. And we've seen Devin Booker do it time and time again. I'm absolutely happy with this.
So you mean point book with Isaiah Kanan and Josh Jackson and Dragan Bender
And Shaq Harrison.
Yeah.
You always gotta throw him on the
That was sweet.
I'm not saying he's bad. He was on the team.
But you're saying the point book looks worse when
No,
he's
he
with
didn't.
those guys than with KD, Bradley Beal, and DA? I mean, yeah. Point book looked like crap at times because he had crap around. You can't distribute and look good when these guys can't make shots. Now you're around guys that are going to hit him at a high clip, and all of a sudden, point book can look good because he's got weapons to dish it to.
Because we're
Yeah.
not asking him to run the point, aka do everything
Yes.
for us.
You
Play
don't have to be
5-on-1,
Superman.
basically.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this all works out. I think a lot of people are going to learn that Bradley Beal is kind of developed into an underrated playmaker in Washington, kind of similar to Book, not to that extent, but he hasn't had as much talent around him these last couple of years, but he has worked on that in his game. And we were talking about the catch and shoot thing. Like, Beal's a 40% catch and shoot guy last year on 2 attempts. Booker was 44.4% on 2 attempts. KD was like 43% on like 4 attempts. So these guys are all interchangeable in that way. So it's not just going to be on Book to do that. Like he was saying, it's going to come down to who has the position to attack, who's on the backside, who's one pass away. And it's going to be really fun to see how they're able to mix and match in their offense like that.
I'm really curious to see what portion of Monty's offensive scheme is still retained with Kevin Young in the fold. I'm going to assume it's going to be a significant portion just because that's what he knows. And he's probably going to add some things to it, obviously. But I went through some of the playbook that Monty had and the Suns have had for the last couple of years. And some of their options, like especially like the Spain and some of the other ATOs, I mean, phenomenal. Like it got me so excited to see the different options. And at that time, like some of these examples that I had in this folder were like Shamet replacing Book because Book was injured that game, and so watching him get a wide open shot, but he wasn't making it. Sorry, Shamet.
Hey, he made it 36% of the time.
He doesn't even go here.
But like, there's just so much flexibility when you have these three kind of guys that are in this lineup. Sorry, Shamet. I'm sorry, Landry. You deserve better.
Bro,
I'm
you
sorry,
do.
man.
You
I'm
owe him
sorry,
such
man.
a big
I'm sorry,
apology.
man.
You called somebody the Landry Shamet of the Diamondbacks.
I did
yesterday.
not. That was everybody else.
Oh, you
Everybody
agreed.
else was saying
You
that about
agreed.
well, I laughed at it. I was like, oh, damn. That's not a moniker you really want.
You know what? Vogel mentioned pace today, though, too. And I like the idea of this team operating faster than they have. I mean, with Chris Paul, there's a slowness to that offense. I mean, when your point guard loves to roll the ball up court before he picks it up, it slows things down a bit, right? I think this team is going to play much faster, which should be much more entertaining, too.
Well, let's hear what Frank Vogel had to say about how they intend on playing.
Yeah, we want to play with pace. So we're going to have a multiple ball handler attack in most possessions. But I love the fact that both Bradley and Devin have played point at phases of their career and can initiate offense, as can KD. And we also want to see how the rest of the roster shakes out, to see if we add a point guard. Campaign will be in the mix. All those decisions will play out in camp. But, we're going to play with pace and have a multiple ball handler attack.
Well, we weren't 100% for certain if Campaign was going to be in the mix when that statement was made by Frank Vogel.
But we knew.
Hey, Lindsay, internal matters stay internal, all right?
Listen,
for
I'm gonna give a shout out to Dwayne Rankin
Yes.
because he followed up. He waited till like closer to the end of the presser, right? So as to not kind of take over or whatever. But Frank Vogel did bring up Campaign's name twice. And so it was a very fair question for Dwayne Rankin to be like, you brought this guy up. Is he going to be on your team next year?
Right.
And of course, James Jones is like, that's internal. And then they had a little banter back and forth because he asked about Baisley as well. And here's the thing. There was somebody in the comments who was like, Dwayne really pissed off James Jones. No, Dwayne did not piss off James Jones. Honestly, Dwayne and James probably equally loved that little banter back and forth as much as the next guy. And we all loved it as well. It was a fair question. And that's the relationship that the two of them have.
And there's a core group of reporters that are always around and always around the facility, always around the players, always around the personnel. This guy's one of them. And they developed that rapport over time. And you saw James Jones be like, how many times do I have to tell you? Because Dwayne, hey, listen, one thing you can't deny about these guys is that they will ask the question. And sometimes, it's uncomfortable to have to ask a question that you already know the answer to, but you got to ask because sometimes and you guys have seen it in the chat. You guys will be like, I can't believe nobody asked this question. And it's because somebody was like, well, I already knew the answer, so I didn't ask it. Well, that's why they ask it. So that way nobody can possibly say that they didn't ask that question.
Well, and that was the most personality we saw from James most of the day was in that moment. He wasn't mad. He was having fun.
He
loved
that.
And Dwayne did get his answer later.
Dwayne
not from
did.
James, but from somebody he
I'll
got
tell
it.
you,
'cause-
that was
James better have called Dwayne and been like, all right, here you go. Here's your answer.
It's no longer internal. You can have it.
I hope he did because Dwayne did get that scoop on the campaign information and he tweeted out the Phoenix Suns have fully guaranteed Cameron Payne's third and final year of his contract. Sources inform AZ Central. James Jones better have been that source. We also did get word from Michael Scotto on Darius Baisley. He tweeted out the Phoenix Suns did not extend a qualifying offer to forward Darius Baisley, league sources told Hoops Hype. So he will enter the market as an unrestricted free agent.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, you got Goodwin, and then you got Todd coming in. And I think Todd is probably more representative of what Baisley could have offered. And, I mean, there's only so many spaces to go around. And with the Suns being in the position that they are, they're going to attack the vet minimum free agency market like crazy. And so why keep a guy like Baisley around if you don't really see a fit with him within your organization? And they got a good sample size. I mean, you got 20 games at the end of the season plus practices and stuff like that. You get a good feel for a player, and if you don't see a fit, then you don't see a fit. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, his qualifying offer was like $6.2 million, and then in luxury tax payments, even if it was for that amount, it would have been like an extra $20 million. He had a $12 million cap hold. They can still technically, I believe, bring him back with his bird rights as an unrestricted free agent now. So if they are looking to bring him back and structuring their salaries with tradable contracts, and maybe they think he's a 23-year-old who might have some trade value. I personally don't see it at this point, but there is that possibility. I don't think it'll happen though. I think if you look through their free agents, which we'll do tomorrow, there are a lot better candidates for them to bring back and re-sign. But yeah, that wasn't really surprising to me. He had a very limited stint here. He didn't show them much when he did actually get on the court. And he's just kind of a guy that he's a big that thinks he's a wing, and it just doesn't really mesh with what the Suns are trying to do.
I think it's interesting though. When you look at that trade, a lot of people are like, well, why would you deal Dario Saric? But there's a piece to it that people forget. That created a $5 million trade exemption that they can use to potentially bring in a veteran making around that amount to add to this group. So like, oh, well, why would you just let him go because you made a trade? Well, you've also created that. So there's a little bit of value there too if they can leverage it at some point.
It was a salary cutting move. Like, let's be honest, it saved him a lot in the luxury tax last year. And it was a move that maybe they were trying to take a flyer on a young guy with some upside. It didn't really pan out. It kind of hurt them because I think they could have used Saric at times during the playoffs last year. But it is what it is. You can't win every trade.
We also got a question in the chat from Mr. Ranger, and they said, add a point guard, you say. Mr. Ranger, you're going to have to wait because we're not there yet, but we're getting closer. But first, our friends over at OG's are doing some really cool stuff. The pink lemonade flavor, which is a fan favorite around the PHNX offices, are here.
Good.
It is a limited edition, so make sure you get your hands on them sooner rather than later so you do not miss out on this fresh, tangy lemon with a hint of red berry and plenty of sugar taste.
It is so good.
Is it?
Oh my God, it's so good.
I hear great things about it.
It's so good. You want to take multiple, and then you got to remind yourself, if you do that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
So you're saying they need to make one that is a non-medicated one.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
So that you can get them at the same time.
Yes.
So you can have a medicated one and then you can snack on the non-medicated
Yes, and then you throw them all
ones.
into the
That's actually
same bowl, grab a
genius
handful, and be
idea.
like,
No, don't do that. Our friends over at OG's Brands, they do not miss when it comes to flavor and effect. So get your pink lemonade gummies while you can. Check out OG's online at ogsbrands.com. You can find them on Instagram at OG's Brands, and you can also find them at your local dispensary, but you must be 21 years or older to purchase and enjoy them responsibly. Also, it's summertime. Again, 115 degrees outside. Make sure your eyes are covered and protected by picking up some of the best gear in premium polarized shades from our friends over at Shady Rays. They are an independent sunglass company. They have a world-class product. They are just as good as the expensive sunglasses with durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. And right now, Shady Rays Independence Day sale is live. Go to shadyrays.com. Get up to 50% off single pairs of sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. So we know that Bradley Beal talked a lot about playing with KD and Book, but he also brought up DA quite a bit today as well.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what he had to say about playing with Deandre Ayton.
Probably haven't had that type of talented big who can finish, roll, good touch, shoot the ball, finish in the paint, like since Gortat, and he's a little bit better. And I'm going to say that he's a lot better. And so I'm excited about it. Like I haven't had a chance to play with this type of talent level ever, so it's going to be new for me. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be challenging, but I'm accepting the challenge in front of me. I'm accepting the work. I'm excited about it. I think DA can be a huge piece to our team. It's tough because we're on the outside looking in and always, but I see his value. I think he's a really talented big, one of the best bigs in the league, and a willing defender. I think that's a lost art in our game too. So I think his impact is going to be huge this year for us.
How dare you besmirch the good name of Marcin Gortat, sir? Sorry.
You got it out?
I got it out. I'm good now.
No, I think either way you want to look at it, because people are going to either look at this as Vogel and Bradley Beal and all these guys truly believe in DA, or they're just trying to boost his trade value. But either way you look at it, it's a good thing from the Suns' perspective, because if they do believe in him and they are going to keep him, you need a motivated DA. You need a locked-in DA. You need a DA who responds well to positive reinforcement, to encouragement. And that's something that Vogel had mentioned to me when we had our one-on-one, is that power of belief. He's seen it before in terms of being an affirming coach and seeing what a player can be instead of what they are not. And so it's great to hear Beal say that. And especially you notice him and Vogel have emphasized the defensive end of the floor. They understand that they need a locked-in rim protector like DA under a defensive-minded coach for this to work. That's the side of the floor more than the offensive end where they need him to bounce back next season. So it feels like everybody is on the same page about that so far, and that's good to hear.
You go from, listen, however you feel about DA, I think we can all acknowledge that if DA plays like DA can, that he's shown the ability to from time to time, especially when we had the finals run. Like, this team goes from championship contender to championship favorite like that. Like, it's undeniable. And so that's what you're really hoping that you can get out of him. And listen, there's going to be so many opportunities for him to eat this year because of this trio. Like, let's just be real. He's going to be one of the only options down low because who knows who they're going to add as the fifth starter. It could be a point guard. It could be another power forward. Who knows, right? So I'm excited for DA, and I think it's right. I think you're right. Like, you gotta coach him up. You gotta play, this seemingly game to try and get him up mentally where he needs to be and really focused. And I know he's putting in the work in the offseason. Like, he might not be in the Bahamas, but hell, he's working out at ASU, so that's cool. And these guys know that. And so for Bradley Beal, similar to KD when he came in, kind of raw, not really knowing what DA was all about, probably heard some things, trying to coach him up. Beal's largely going to do the same exact thing. And the great thing about this is that Bradley Beal's coming in when they're going to hit training camp instead of in the middle of the season, and opportunity. And Beal's going to have an opportunity to really work with him as well, to get him up to speed, hopefully. And he's got a big opportunity in front of him. And hopefully DA knows that.
I love the mindset that, this might up his trade value. Like, they're sending clips of Vogel and Beal over to these other teams going, look what they're saying.
I'm telling you, they pay attention to this shit. You can laugh all you want. But if you're sending out vibes that you love this guy and you're high on him, that's way better than if you're just like, yeah, he's good.
Hey, let me tell you about this used car. A little old lady only drove it twice. I'd say it's got like 14,000 miles. It's a decade old, but look, she loved it. And here's the proof.
You act like you've never been around the leverage game before. Come on now, you're better than this.
I don't think that's leverage.
Wait,
yeah, it is.
I just need to make sure I'm on the correct
all
page.
Leverage ploys.
So you think it is leverage ploys, and you think it's them being genuine?
I don't think it's being
confused.
I don't think it's a leverage ploy. I'm saying it could very well be a leverage ploy.
Okay.
And I'm saying this is not some concerted effort, like they're sending these clips to the other general managers.
Where did I say they're sending clips?
No, I'm not saying you. Other people are like this, like acting like this is all some play acting, because they're like, look, guys, we're gonna have to meet. We gotta make sure that we all make Deandre Ayton sound amazing, because the other general managers are just gonna take our word for it. It's a Jedi mind trick. It's gonna work, guys.
I mean, did we see what Kyrie did today? It's not that ridiculous in comparison.
Nobody's talking to Crispy Haynes about DA right now.
Are you sure? Because we
sure.
got the report that they're keeping him from Crispy Haynes after Gambo had already reported it for a week.
Yeah, well, Crispy Haynes just listening to Gambo. What's that, right?
Saying, not that ridiculous.
I think I upset Jared.
You are the tinfoil hat club guy. Don't give me shit about what's ridiculous and what's not. Good.
I did not have Espo versus Gerald on the bingo card today.
I definitely did not either.
Bingo!
Good Lord.
That's funny. I love it because last week both of you were on my list, and now you guys are feuding with each other.
We're on each
How
other's
the
list.
Is that your
turntables-
fault? Is that what you're saying?
I made this. I've been plotting all week to get you guys to turn against each other. It's fantastic.
Meanwhile,
anyway,
I'm nice and innocent over here.
to round out, don't worry.
once.
Yours is coming next segment. We
For
already
now.
know
Yeah,
this.
you've got like
Give us
5
about
minutes.
another
We
segment.
already know
You got
that.
5 minutes in your system.
To round out the Bradley Beal conversation, Frank Vogel and James Jones were asked, how much closer did adding Beal get us to the championship that we all so desperately want? Here's how they answered.
Tremendously closer. He's one of the best players in the league, and anytime you add a player like Bradley Beal to a core and foundation that we already have, your chances enhance greatly. And Bradley hasn't always had the pieces around him, to win a championship. But there was an old saying that we used to say back when I was in Indiana, and I was able to carry it through it with the Lakers. The champions behave like champions before they're champions. And I believe Bradley's carried himself that way and performed that way throughout his career. And hopefully now he's got the pieces around him to help him achieve that goal.
I believe what Coach said is 100% true. For us, I always look at the game as like you want to have an advantage at as many positions as possible every night. And adding Brad, truly believe, every night we're going to walk out there with 4 of the 5 best players on the floor at those positions. And so great players carry greater expectations. And it's really good when they're really good. The really good players make it easy to meet those expectations. So he's pushing us closer. We have a lot of work to do. It's a really tough task, really difficult. The hardest thing you'll ever do in the sport of basketball is win a championship. But we have players capable of excelling at that level, and they know how hard it is, and they embrace it. So I think we're well positioned to meet our goal.
I love the glance at each other after the question was asked. Like, you can say it, or do I need to say it?
I feel like they were thinking, "Fuck Denver."
I thought we might get another hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was kind of low key hoping we would.
That glance between the two of them was my favorite moment of the press conference. They looked like two guys that had just robbed a bank and found out they were going to get away with it, right? Like, huh? We all right? Yeah, we good?
Yeah, we good. We good. We all sitting pretty. We did get a comment from Mario saying that Girth and Espo are giving me DA and Monty vibes.
Yep. I'm not calling him the rest of the offseason.
Awesome.
I'm not calling him out. I'm calling him up.
Yeah,
Awesome. Meanwhile, Chris Paul and Devin Booker over here are just trying to make things work. That's all we're trying to do.
Saul, can you tell Gerald I'm not speaking? Saul, can you tell Gerald I'm not speaking to him, please?
Thank you. That's brutal.
Hey, at least we know we got drama to discuss all off season long now. Don't you guys worry. All right. Kyrie's coming up next. But first, our friends over at Four Peaks doing some really cool stuff today. And tomorrow at some point in time is the last day to nominate a teacher to potentially win some goodies from our friends over at Four Peaks in their Four Peaks for Teachers appreciation. They're giving away 11 $1,000 cash grants, and one lucky teacher will win a teacher's lounge renovation. Go to fourpeaksforteachers.org to nominate your teacher for a chance to win. Again, they are due by June 30th, so I don't know if that means the cutoff is midnight or sometime tomorrow, but better safe than sorry. So get your nominations in today. You can also check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You do have to be 21 years or older to drink Four Peaks, and we ask that you drink responsibly. And if you haven't already become a PHNX diehard, now is a great time to become one. There is a diehard specific article up at gophnx.com from Gerald. This week, he got to talk with Frank Vogel and got a lot of insight for him on how he views this organization and this team and his plans moving forward. In addition to getting some diehard content on the website, you also get your first t-shirt for free. You get discounts on things like merch and early access to events. And not to mention, you get access to our diehard Discord, which is a lot of fun. You also get exclusive discounts from some of our partners, like a free entree card from Illegal Pete's. There's a lot of great things that come with being a diehard.
Don't forget the Saul feet pictures, too.
That's
the bonus level.
God.
That's optional, though, so you can select if you want that or not. We won't force you.
Nope. Everybody gets them.
It's actually on the homepage, so I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't
gracious.
worry. They're very beautiful. Don't worry. You're good.
They're not.
Go
Just
My
say
feet
toe.
are pretty as shit. What are you
Bro.
talking about?
Bro, I hate to be the one
They
to break
really
it
are.
to you, but
They
you
really
sent
are.
us that tweet of you putting
Yeah.
your feet on the internet,
Yeah.
and low-key, Saul, they're not.
They are.
So,
What's wrong with them?
Saul,
Well, for
toe
one,
means
your
toe,
toes
all
are
right?
like this.
Anyway, go to
And you couldn't even see the
gophnx.com.
Your toes were curled.
Okay. That doesn't mean my feet aren't pretty. It's just because
It's
I
feet
did
with a
not
PH.
I did not pose them very well.
PHNX.
Right?
Hey, we got him to fight,
Why?
Gerald.
Tell me why am I?
Who's
Put
winning
your
now?
mic on.
Who's winning now?
Who's my
I want to
DA?
I'm Saul, because
So-
the two of them are going at it way more
Okay.
than I am.
Tell me why my feet are ugly.
No feet are pretty, dog.
So no
That's
feet
not
are
entirely true.
That's way out of there. If no feet are pretty,
Your
then,
feet
then
are
I had
pretty,
no
though.
chance.
You go to
My feet are
tonelyfans.com.
My feet are pretty. I don't give a shit. They
Your
are.
feet
Anyway.
are fine. Your feet are not ugly, but your feet are not pretty.
You said
They're
wait,
just
wait,
fine.
what was the first thing
They're
you just said?
fine.
They're fine.
No, not like
Fine.
that.
They're fine.
As Emma would put it, they're mid. They're just like, they're average feet.
Anyway, go to GoFeetHNX.
I mean,
My articles.
I'm just saying. They're pretty.
Anyway.
I get compliments on my feet all the time.
By who?
All the
Himself.
time. All the time.
So today at the press conference, we also got a few additional questions outside of just Bradley Beal stuff.
Hold on. We got to read Jacob Winkler, who says, your feet are the Landry body of your bodies.
That's. I mean, come on, Jacob.
That's
come
karma,
on.
Saul.
That's just uncalled for. That's just uncalled for.
Sorry, I was not going to keep it together if we didn't read it.
I love how
First of all, okay. Oh, AJW, really? Really?
What did
Have
he
you
say?
seen Shaq's feet?
What did they say?
Said I got Shaq feet.
Oh,
Have you seen his broken toe? Have you seen his mangled feet? Come on now.
Can we mute
Now,
Sal's mic
now
now?
it's absolutely getting besmirched right here.
It's okay. I'm sure,
Disrespect.
I'm sure your feet have a great personality.
My feet are fucking beautiful.
They've got a beautiful soul, all right?
it's what's on the inside.
Oh,
The bones that help you up.
You didn't spell
that
Shaq
matter.
right. So
Okay, back to reality now. We did get a few questions at this presser that were outside of the scope of just Bradley Beal joining the Suns organization. And one of them was directed towards James Jones, and he was asked about his role now that there is a new owner in town and what it's been like working with Matt Ishbia.
Matt's awesome. Like he's been extremely awesome to work with. My role has expanded, as you see with this recent transaction that we made to acquire Bradley. But working with Matt, with Josh, with Frank, has been great for me. It's allowed me to improve my team, and my team with me in basketball operations. We've been able to push forward with some really big, I'd say some like really high or big ask, and we've been able to accomplish it as a team. So it's been great working for him, and I look forward to it.
Look, James is just putting one foot in front of the other, and he's
right.
trying to be the total
right.
package, all right?
Total
True.
package.
True.
It's the heart and soul of the team.
Yes.
You're damn right. I just got a bunch of haters in here. That's all that is. That's all that is. You wish you had feet like me.
Look,
I do not.
Yes,
He'd
you
like
do.
to nail down
I
a
do
championship
not.
here in Phoenix, all right?
Definitely not.
Can this put to rest that there's some weird rift? I mean,
No,
no,
it won't.
but
Should it? Maybe.
I wanted to see
Can it?
Isaiah
No.
Thomas just kind of slowly peek out from behind the backdrop. Like, what do people think he's going to say? Yep, you know what? Matt Ishbia has cut me off at the knees. I didn't make the deal for Bradley Beal. Matt and IT and whoever the hell else he's got back there. I'm just collecting checks. You know, it's all good. Like,
Listen, during that press conference, I felt like he made it a point to everybody that he was the one that orchestrated the Bradley Beal deal, in my opinion. Like, you know, he got asked a question, he answered the question, and I thought he was basically implying that he was the main mover of that deal, which if it is, then good on him. Like that's exactly what he should be doing in his role. So I don't know. It's really complex, and unless you're in the know, you don't know.
Right.
So.
And Beal also mentioned in one of his responses when they were talking about the whole double teaming, who you're going to double team thing, he had mentioned James said to him, like, when we played you, we used to double team you. So he was actively part of the pitch for sure. People are still going to speculate about what his role is, and that's whatever. But he's definitely involved at the very least.
You talking about James Jones though, or IT?
James Jones.
I think James Jones is probably one of the main players. I think IT is one of the ones who you could say is involved, but secondary. That's what I would like to believe anyway.
Well, right,
So
but
that's what I'm going to believe.
Right, but I'm addressing the reports that are out there that you know
Yeah.
James Jones isn't really doing much. He's
Yeah.
involved at the very least, if not one of the main drivers.
yeah, and look, if he's not the main driver, Ishbia's out here doing these press conferences. He's making it very clear he hasn't been at the Vogel press conference. He wasn't at the Bradley Beal. I think James Jones does have at least one hand on the wheel here, regardless of who else may or may not be involved.
All right, guys. The time has come. We must talk about the rumor
Oh, we get to talk about the rumor.
that
This is a get to, not a
Kyrie
got to.
Irving
Oh.
and the Suns are planning to meet during free agency. So, Emma, we have a tweet from Chris B. Haynes who shared today that
Crispy.
is what they intend to happen. Obviously, this all tips off tomorrow on June 30th. How you guys feeling?
I mean,
How you feeling? Gerald, you breathing?
I'm breathing.
I mean,
Fire.
listen, much like my appendages, a lot of people hate them or they love it. There you go.
I'm going to leave that there.
I don't
right?
know where to go with that.
Listen, I think I think first of all, if there was ever a player in the history of sport that was going to take the vet minimum, because that's exactly what you're asking this guy to do, because the sign and trade hard caps you, and there's a lot of complexities behind that. It would be Kyrie Irving, and there is a part of me that feels like, you know what, maybe, just maybe, he feels like he owes KD one. Because he kind of bungled that whole Brooklyn situation.
Does he owe him $148 to $198 million? Because that's what he's going to be doing.
He's got plenty of money. He's not worried about that.
That's a lot of money to give up in your last big opportunity for a big contract.
Allegedly, the last contract was offered by Dallas was like 3 years, 120. So that's all. That's all he's sacrificing.
That's the whole point of this. Is he wants it to be higher with Dallas.
Hold on,
he's floating this information like, I might go to Phoenix, you guys. Don't tempt me.
A minimum contract is the leverage?
I didn't say it was good leverage. It's stupid as hell, but that's what he's doing.
Hold on.
It's a dumb play, but that's the play.
5 minutes ago, you were telling me, tinfoil hat. Now you don't want to believe the theory here?
No.
Put that tinfoil hat on. Who does KD have a lifetime shoe deal with?
Nike.
Who did Kyrie just have an issue with shoes and has no shoe sponsor?
Where are you going with this?
KD gonna get Kyrie back with Nike to make him his money back when he signs his minimum deal.
Charlie Day at the whiteboard with all these different
but just to be fair though, like that would be like saying, okay, you're at the Mercedes-Benz dealership and you're looking at a G-Wagon and you're like, that price isn't right. I might go with this Yugo over here. What? No, go fucking with the Yugo then. Like, that's just not, I'm not buying that. Like,
again, I didn't say it was a good play. I said that's what he's doing.
Aren't you? If you're Dallas, don't you just call about that and go,
do it.
Yeah. We pulled our offer. Good luck.
This is the dumbest game of chicken that's ever been played. Because if Kyrie takes the vet minimum to come here, he's sacrificing anywhere from probably 148 to more millions of dollars that he's leaving on the table to play. It would literally be unprecedented. And if the Mavs let him do that and don't up their offer, they're losing their only co-star that they gave up tangible assets for to put next to Luka Doncic. And guess what message that sends to your superstar who already has not been back? They had a terrible, they didn't even make the play-in last year.
Well, they gave up.
That's not a good message to send that like, hey, we traded stuff for Kyrie. We're going to let him go for the vet minimum.
Saddle up, Gerald. Saddle up.
Hold up.
Let
him cook.
Put the tinfoil hat back on. Get a big one. A Texas-sized cowboy tinfoil hat. What if KD said, I'm forcing my way to Phoenix. You force your way to Dallas to screw them over. And then you join me in Phoenix because we're taking down one of the rivals for Phoenix. Let's cook.
Even that's a little far-fetched.
You told me to hold up for that.
My bad. Carry on.
You asked for this.
Don't let him cook.
Fair enough. Look, I will just say this. Logistically, unless he's taking the veteran minimum, there's no easy path to doing this, because if it is a sign and trade, like Saul mentioned, you are hard capped at $172 million, and they would have to trade him basically for DA, because if they did it, like let's say Kyrie decided to take campaign money and they did a sign and trade for campaign, well, you'd still have to jettison DA somewhere else first, because you could not go above $172 million in your salary for the rest of the year. So even with those four guys and like veteran minimums, you're still pushing up against that. You still have to worry about sign and trade math. And if you're doing it for DA, like what Kyrie would have to sign for like $21 million. And then the Mavs would have to send a third body to a third team to make the math work on that trade. Like it's a lot to navigate and make happen.
I love that Gerald is dealing in reality here.
Yes.
And we're just like,
someone has to. We're talking about Kyrie meeting with the Suns for some reason.
Kyrie been? Yeah, like Kyrie's always been in his own world. Like we're talking about an individual who makes some wildly crazy, stupid, over the top freaking things in his life.
But
like
it's never been at the expense of the money. Even when he had to like own up to the shit he tweeted out, it was because his deals got pulled, because they were threatening to suspend him, because they were gonna pull his money. He is not gonna leave $100+ million on the table to sign the vet minimum. That would be nuts even for him.
Saul, you know what I'm hearing?
Even for him.
You know what I'm hearing Gerald say?
that it's going to happen.
They're actually moving for James Harden is what they're because
no.
you don't have to sign a trade.
I would rather that, to be honest with you, because at least that makes sense.
Do you need a hug, Gerald?
No.
Again, I just listen. If for nothing else, I appreciate this. This content because
The chaos? You appreciate the chaos?
Yeah, this is a far better offseason already than it was last year because all we did last year was speculate about one person.
Right.
It seems like every day we're talking about somebody new that wants to come play for the Suns, and the fact that Kyrie Irving is legitimately moving with the Phoenix Suns. I mean, folks, let's just be real, okay? We just got Kevin Durant, we got Bradley Beal, Kyrie's coming to meet. Hey, this is a far cry from Isaiah Kanan, Shaq Harrison, and whoever else was on that team
enough
besides
with
Devin
Shaq.
Booker. Those are the two guys I remember. That's why I keep bringing them up.
We could go Mike James. We could go Josh Jackson. We could go John Lure. We could go
John Lure. That's a good name.
Jimmer Fredette?
Great hair with
Jimmer.
Man. I like that Saul's like, hey, every day something new. Great stuff. Yesterday we were talking about Mike James. Today we're talking about Kyrie Irving.
Step up.
Some days are better than others. Let's say that.
Okay, I have 3 things. Let me just real quick. We do have a super chat from Ben. Ben's, thank you for that. Said Girth is right. Biggest calves, biggest brain. Second, I
does not have
will
the biggest
say
calves.
though the one thing
Emma,
that
I'm
would
going
maybe
to kick your ass. Jesus, what?
the one thing that would maybe make this all worth it if Kyrie
wearing
did
shorts
somehow come to play in Phoenix on the vet min would be the amount of trash we could talk to Mavs fans.
Yeah.
We could be like, you and your son couldn't keep this guy that you traded assets to get, and he came to us.
We already have a thumbnail
It
for
would
it.
almost make it worth the drama.
The thumbnail writes itself. It
What
would
is
be
that?
sunned.
Suck it, Dallas.
I'm
But
ready.
I won't lie. That would bring some joy.
I
That would bring some joy.
It would bring some joy. I did enjoy Shrieker's tweet earlier today that said, "Oh, now Kyrie believes in the Suns' rotation."
And then we also have a clip from James Jones about this as well. He was asked about the rumor that the Suns and Kyrie intend to meet. Here's
What we do in free agency is an internal matter that we always keep internal. There are plenty great players that we'll talk to during this period. And so that's why I'll leave that.
AKA no comment.
What's an external matter that you keep external? Like, what's it?
That's a good question.
I don't like.
Everything is internal, basically.
It's
Stay out of our business, please.
It's internal. Also, we got another super chat from I Know That One Guy. Thank you. They said, what a time to be a Suns fan.
Yeah.
Truly, though.
The content
Truly.
is flowing. That's for
Honestly,
sure.
What a time to be a
I
Suns
mean, listen,
fan.
I'm not based off of 2023 alone and nothing else. I mean, anything is possible. Anything is. I mean, we literally sat here on this show 2.5 weeks ago and laughed at the idea of Bradley Beal getting traded to the Suns because of how much it would cost. And now Bradley Beal's on the Suns. So anything is possible.
I'm at the embrace the hate point. Bring in everybody.
You live at that point.
Stick it to everything when it comes to the CBA. Let's have chaos. Why not? Like, we deserve it here. We deserve everything that could come our way in terms of players wanting to be here. We slogged through the desert of basketball for a decade. We deserve everything like this. I'm fine with it.
You've either been a Suns fan for too long or you've watched The Dark Knight for too many times.
Both. Both, damn it.
And eventually, like we've seen some of these super teams get meet up and they haven't worked out. Okay, yeah. Eventually, it's going to work for somebody.
What?
Trade Reaper. Never been so happy for the Reaper,
Oh
the
my
Suns
God.
Reaper, to be out here. He quote tweeted Chris Train's tweet and said, "The Suns are not going to meet with Kyrie Irving. This is absurd."
Yeah.
Nah,
Forget about it.
No. I don't believe that at all.
But Gamble's on vacation.
Gamble's
so
Yeah,
how
he's
could
on
he have done
vacation. He
that?
doesn't even know what's
He
going
was in
on.
Why?
Italy. He didn't get the
Nah,
text from
yeah,
James
no.
saying
He
this
misread
one's
it.
not internal. That we're meeting. Like,
Yeah.
I kid.
Not
Why
a
are you
chance.
guys the way that you are?
Mostly because of you, Gerald.
Gerald, it's called our business. All right. And internal business stays internal. All right.
Oh my
man.
goodness. Listen, we're gonna get rumors around Kyrie until Kyrie figures out what Kyrie is doing. And until then, just buckle up because it's going to be a lot of fun. But a couple more things before we say goodbye. We did get another super chat from Leo. Leo, thank you, said, you guys interested in Eric Gordon, Mo Bamba, or Jackson Hayes? So a couple things. We did find out that Eric Gordon, we have a tweet to show for this one as well. Eric Gordon did get bought out. And apparently Espo, along with...
This is the tweet we read.
Or not bought out.
with his art.
I'm sorry, they're not guaranteeing his contract, not bought out. But apparently Espo and a lot of Suns fans are clamoring for Eric Gordon to finally become a Phoenix Sun.
Can we have a story time?
Oh boy.
You had a Woj tweet with a quote tweet from you with an article from my old boss at Hoops Habit, Michael Dunlap, who hasn't been in the game for years.
That's a decade old, all right?
Oh
I was in the building. Can we get story time? We need a graphic for Espo's story time. Get cozy. I'm going to take you back 10 years. Doodaloo, doodaloo. We go back a decade. And it's almost a decade right now. And I'm standing out in front of what was then, I think, the group, Talking Stick Resort Arena. And we're all standing out there, all the employees, and we're all wearing white T-shirts with a picture of Eric Gordon on it that says Cornerstone, right? Eric Gordon in number 10 Suns jersey. And we're lined up, and there's an orange carpet. They rolled out the orange carpet for him, and he pulls up, and the sign on the the big video board out there in front of the arena has Eric Gordon, Cornerstone, and they walk him through, and we all have to act like we're super excited that Eric Gordon is in the building. And he walks down there. He goes upstairs. There's a sign, a cutout of him. There's water bottles with the same wrapper, Cornerstone. Everybody. Oh, this is the thing that's going to fix the Phoenix Suns. He's a restricted free agent, though. Everybody forgets that part. Mm-hmm. And New Orleans goes, screw you guys. We're going to match him. So the Suns basketball operations, and I confirmed this morning, wasn't PR, it was basketball operations, comes up with this quote, "My heart is in Phoenix, not in New Orleans," to try to convince New Orleans that they shouldn't re-sign him, right? And Eric Gordon signs off on them putting this out in the press release about signing his deal with Phoenix. And New Orleans said, screw you and your heart. You're coming back here. So now every time we bring up Eric Gordon for the last decade, all I think about is it's really cruel that his heart's been stuck here and he's been in New Orleans and Houston and LA. Reunite the guy with his freaking heart already.
Come home, Eric Gordon.
That's kind of funny. I mean, at least they cleared it with him, because I thought for a second you were about to say they put that shit out here just like willy-nilly.
I did too. I was like, dang.
Well,
but
I can't confirm they ran it by the story I heard was they ran it by him, but
that's wild. That's funny.
Yeah, my biggest regret is I didn't keep the T-shirt, and B, I didn't find a way to sneak that cardboard cutout out of the building.
You should have.
Well, you know what? If Eric Gordon comes here, we'll need a PHNX shirt that is hard as a Phoenix.
Cornerstone.
Oh my God! Yes, yes.
Fantastic.
Matter of fact, what we should do is just go make our own shirts and just wear them the first time we get to meet them.
Oh, that's great. No, like. Gosh. Eric Gordon, somebody said in the chat that he only played 22 games last year. That's not true. He only played 22 games for the Clippers. He also played 47 for the Rockets, so that was 69 total. And nice. he was really good in LA. He shot 42% from 3 on 5 attempts, and he's a guy that spreads the floor like 5 or 6 feet beyond the 3-point line. So if you threw him out there with Beal, Booker, KD, and DA, like that's a optimal floor spacing unit right there. I don't know that you'll be able to get him for the vet minimum, because that's what it would take at this point. I'm sure some team will probably offer the mid-level, but he is the type of guy that maybe at this point in his career, he's on his last chances to win a title. Maybe that's more valuable to him. So hopefully they have a shot.
I mean, the opportunity to come here and play with this group of guys is very appealing to free agents. It might be worth, especially a guy at the tail end of his career. Eric Gordon has made a lot of money in this league. Like, so I don't know if a couple $1 million really would sell him on the idea of going elsewhere. This is one of the premier places to go to win a ring this year. Like, I don't think that's that's disputable. Like you can try to go to Denver, you can try to go to LA, whatever. But this group and this team that has never won it before, they're going to be hungry. They're going to be starving for a championship, and you get to be a part of that. And I think everybody saw what happened with the Denver Nuggets and how crazy that fan base was about winning a championship, even though they'd never been to the finals and stuff like that. And I think these athletes and these players specifically are kind of craving that, right? You can go to the LA Lakers of the world. You can go to the Celtics of the world. They've won multiple championships. Cool. It's kind of ho-hum for those fan bases. But to come here and do something that's never been done before, there's something to that part of the legacy that is really attractive to a lot of guys.
Gerald, what's a heart worth to you? Because that's the question. Is it worth another $6 million? Who needs that much money when you can come to a city that you've always loved on a vet minimum and try to win a ring? Well, put a ring on it.
We got another super chat from Momo. Momo said, Gambo said they're not meeting with Kyrie.
Yes.
Thanks, Momo.
We did cover that.
We did.
But they are.
Stop it. Stop.
Also, there was a chat, I don't remember who it was, but they said, I don't think I'd trust Espo with deep, dark secrets. Feels like an undercover Fed.
Oh my gosh.
At some point, there's an expiration on when I have to keep these things secret. And I'm pretty sure it was when the paychecks stopped coming from the Suns.
Yep, exactly.
What's going to happen when we trade him to CHGO? Is he just
He's
going to start
gonna spill
telling
all
stories
the
about us?
tea.
Just you wait.
All the tea.
Just
We also
you
got
wait.
a comment from Todd that said, Gerald, you were wrong. Bradley Beal got his own presser. Just saying.
I was wrong, and I do owe them. We're going to try and organize his crumble cookie and his Monroe's for tomorrow's show, since we are going to be going live around the start of free agency. But yes, I was wrong on that, and I will be paying my debts here soon.
I do want to say this just to prepare everybody. I have noticed about myself over the last 6 months to a year. Maybe it's because I'm getting old and my body just isn't responding as well. When I eat hot shit, I get really cranky.
Great.
I'm really looking forward to this Monroe's tomorrow.
Yeah,
And it's
no.
going to be a spicy episode.
No, let's not do that,
I don't know
Gerald.
why I keep doing this.
I know.
Like it's
Let's,
money.
let's not do that then.
I feel like this
That's
isn't
the last
punishment.
thing we need on a Friday afternoon is a cranky soul.
I feel like this isn't punishment for Gerald because he's going to go buy 4 crumble
It's
cookies and
true.
go, here's one for you. I'm going to eat my 3
I'm
now.
just going to order one for you, and you will tell me which one
No,
you want.
he's going to eat one and then he's going to trade the other one for Tobias Harris.
You best believe if I'm going to Monroe's, I'm going to get my own sandwich. Then.
Oh,
So
yeah, we know
that's-
that.
That's going to
We know that.
Oh, Lori, I can confirm it. It's all true. All right.
All right.
Are you still with us today?
No, I checked out when you guys started yelling at each other like brothers, and I just couldn't hang anymore.
That was like 45 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
damn, you just been sitting here.
I just,
She just still hung up on the argument.
it's just been on a loop in my brain.
Oh man.
All right. Well,
Dude, I will straight up, if don't tease me with a good time. I will eat Monroe's hot chicken right here with bare feet tomorrow if you really want me to.
this gets
I'm going to be
worse.
sick tomorrow.
Oh, my God. We're all
gonna
out.
I
ruin our
feel
free
an
agency
itch
show.
in my throat. My head hurts really bad.
You might not even be here next week. so
My
you'll be
back
all right.
hurts.
Saul's heading into feed agency.
I'm going to be sick tomorrow, just so you know.
Restricted feed agent.
Good
Oh
Lord.
my gosh.
Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you for dealing with us. We will be back tomorrow. We'll have a show for you. Same place, same time as usual. Until then, you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
I'd just like to personally apologize to all 550 of you watching that I said anything about Saul's feet. I will never do that again. Ahoy, ahoy.
Lindsay, Gerald, Espo. Saw past the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B. Always on the job, my team move like the mob. Turn the beat on, I throw it down like